today I am going to show you a super easy recipe. It's just meatloaf, but it's one of Dan's favorites. What kind of makes it special is that he likes a hard-boiled egg inside his meatloaf. I personally do not, so I just do half of it with the egg and half of it without. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you how I throw my meatloaf together. There are some changes. I mean, not really. I just don't have a real onion and I don't want to run to the store to get one, so there will be no onion in my meatloaf today. But yeah, so I'll show you what all goes into it. I mean, it's meatloaf. It's pretty straightforward, but I don't know. Here we go. Alright, so for my meatloaf, it's pretty straightforward. So I use horseradish, barbecue sauce. I'm running out of barbecue sauce, so I'm using 2 different flavors today. We'll see how that goes. Worcestershire, some ketchup, a little mustard, an egg to help bind everything together. And then, like I said, I don't have any onions, so we're going to do the onion powder. I also don't have any garlic, so we'll do the garlic powder. These have been my 2 best friends all throughout self-isolation, because I'm trying not to run to the store if I don't absolutely need to. The other thing I have going is my eggs, which are pretty much done, I think, so I'll let them chill there. And then my bacon as well, which is my topper. And lots of times some people don't like pre-cook their bacon before they put it on top. I, however, like to, because I don't really like a soggy bacon, if that makes sense. This way, you know, you still get a nice kind of crispy bacon. And I mean, something I do that maybe might be a little controversial is I use some of the bacon fat in the meatloaf to help keep it nice and moist. Because that's the biggest thing with meatloaf, is people will dry out their meatloaves, and that's what I want to avoid today. So let's start putting the loaf together. And now this is a part where it gets real gross and messy, so you gotta get right in there. Give it a bunch of folds. We'll make sure everything's mixed through really nicely here. Some people say don't handle your meat too much. Some people say whatever. I don't know. I like to really make sure it's nice and incorporated, so I want it to almost be like one kind of really mushy consistency. And some people add breadcrumbs, some people add chips, some people add whatever. Normally there'd be a fresh onion, but not today, and it would be fresh garlic, but not today. Alright, my nice big meat pile. Looks good. So put this off to the side for now. Sauce. So, I like mine like really saucy. Like really saucy. So literally barbecue sauce and more ketchup, which I realize is already the main component in barbecue sauce, but whatever. I add a little bit more mustard to that. Mix it all up. Alright, and that is the sauce that'll go on top of it for us. So let's get those eggs. All Alright, so my meat is all mixed and together, and now I'm just going to peel my eggs. I put them on the stove, boiled them, obviously. I don't know, everybody likes their eggs a little bit different. I try really hard not to get that kind of gray mush around them. So, and I like them actually a little more to like almost the poached category. So where they're definitely hard in the middle, but there's maybe a little bit of that like, you know, kind of golden nectar that leaks out a little bit when you cut into it. I've seen a lot of different like tutorials on like how to, you know, how to open your hard-boiled eggs. I feel like just opening it normal is easiest, except for when they're really, really hot, like they are right now, which is why I'm using gloves. So, egg number 2. Alright, so I'm ready to start throwing my meatloaf together. My bacon is perfectly like bendy and like not really crispy. This is exactly how I want it. My eggs are ready to go in, and my giant ball of meat. So, see if I can figure out an angle to do this where you can see it. Maybe I'll just have to do them parts. Who knows? But let's put together a meatloaf. Alright, so my first layer is down, and then I add the eggs in half for Dan's layer. Just kind of smush them in there. Oop. It's hard to do with only one hand. And then I just start loading it all back up again. And it won't be a very thick meatloaf because my pan is a giant, so it's gonna be kind of like a meatloaf slab cake, I guess. The other thing I like to do, so to like cover the eggs, see if I can do it with one hand here, is I make like a little, almost like a little patty. And then just smush it. Those are my sandals, not the egg. Anyway, so then I just smush it around the egg to make sure it's in just like a nice little meat pocket. So it's almost like making a Scotch egg if you've ever done that before. So make my little sheet and then just fold it around the egg and then continue to add more meat. Alright, so what I did in this case is, for some reason I couldn't, usually I have these little mini meatloaf pans that I use, and then that way I just make us each like an individual one. So instead I just smushed it all to this side, and we'll see how that works. So then I just layer my bacon on top, and then this is where it gets a little different. So I grab my bacon grease, and I am just going to take my brush, soak some of that up, and then start slathering my meat. Ugh, what a gross sentence. But what can be done? So basically I just want to make sure everything is covered. And I mean, essentially it kind of seems gross to be like covering your meat in bacon grease, I guess. But a lot of it will seep out of the meat, and then I always just drain it before I serve it. And with this new little well I've made, maybe it all just will collect there and make draining nice and easy. But I just found this way your meat stays really nice and moist, and then it helps create that nice meatloafy crust that we all like. Alright, that looks pretty good. It's very hard to do it with just one hand. Or like to try to hold the camera and do it. And then sauce. So same brush. And just spread it on. And you can like make as much or as little sauce as you want. I'll probably make a little bit more just so that while it's cooking I can keep lathering it in delicious, delicious sauce. And then I always actually like to have some sauce to like serve with it. because, hey, some people are like me and they just really, really like sauce. The other thing I do with my meatloaf, which maybe, this is my way of trying to get every last drop out with one hand, is to actually let it kind of sit in these flavors for a little bit before I toss it in the oven, just so everything can really come together. Get the sides there so that gets nice and soft and moist. We don't want you to talk moistly, but we do want you to eat moistly. No, nope, still just as bad as when Trudeau said it. Alright, so that's my meatloaf. Pretty easy. I'll let it kind of sit like this until I'm ready to throw it in the oven. So into the fridge it'll go for now. Into the oven, I do it relatively low, I guess. I do it like 350 for probably about an hour, 45 minutes-ish. So I'll show you the end results when it's done. Alright, you guys, it is meatloaf time. Oven is set. Well, I guess I should take the dish out that's in there. And in the meatloaf it goes. So, I don't know. Again, I'm not really a timer person, so I don't know, like probably about an hour at 350. I don't know, I'll come check it, and then while it's cooking, I like to, like I said, baste it with more barbecue sauce because I love me some sauce. Anyways, that's it. Ew, I just spit a whole bunch. Okay, I'll catch you later. Alright, you guys, so meatloaf is done, vegetables are steaming, so let's, I guess let's see how we did. Lovely. So I'm pretty happy that new little experiment I did, it kept its shape. And look at that, all the grease pooled to the side, so now it'll be super easy to drain, which is lovely. So I'll drain off that fat. Whoop. As I almost lose the meatloaf. Maybe not the best idea on my part. I won't ruin the meatloaf, don't worry. Alright. Now this is the hard part, is getting it out of the pan. But we'll see how we do here. I feel like it held its shape pretty good, so it should be alright. Ta-da! Look at that. This is a nice loaf of meat. Actually, as a kid, I hated the idea of meatloaf. It sounded really unappetizing, and then for some reason, as an adult, I have grown to like it a lot. So now let's see if I can cut a slice and show you what that egg bit kind of looks like. Nice sharp knife. Alright, let's see here. I think it's this side. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Okay. So that is what it looks like with the egg in it. Ooh, it's very hot. Steamy. Bacon's falling off. That's alright. So there. That's what it looks like with the egg inside. So basically kind of like a Scotch egg. Now it's ready to service because just veggies are going with it. So that's pretty much it. That is how I make my meatloaf. I hope that maybe you try this recipe and let me know how it goes. And like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you want me to make next. This is your meatloaf.
Look
at how good it looks. The egg is like perfect. Look, don't get your hair in it.
Where's the hair in there?
Well, you're not. It's supposed to be in the kitchen. Oy, oy, oy. All right, guys. Take care. See yas.